Hey everybody, it's me, Otto Sanchez. I'm the actor with the lazy eye from episode 45 of the 2-Minute Terminator. I've just made it across the border, and I have my IMDb list in hand to get a part in Hollywood. Across from me is Ethan McKinley, who does a show. I should stop doing this.
Mush. Hi, I'm Ellie Fitzgerald. Welcome to the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. Ethan, what do we do in this particular 2 minutes?
We break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time.
What else do we do?
We talk about the Terminator.
What little fun tidbits can you advise of? What other things do we do? We don't just discuss, we give
Insight, jokes.
Okay, what I was actually looking for is fact attacks, trivia schmivias, cock-ups.
Bing.
All kinds of crazy shit.
The reason Ellie's voice is so clear in this episode, and my somber tone, is she's here live in studio.
Anyway, hit the music.
Hey, I think this guy's a couple cans short of a six-pack.
Howdy, stranger.
Don't say howdy, stranger, to me.
Load up.
You didn't do the fourth.
Thank God. It sucked. Yeah, it's so good.
Yes, we are back, folks. Hi, I'm Ethan McKinley, and this is episode 46 of the 2-Minute Terminator, where we break down the Terminator films 2 minutes at a time. We are going from minutes 92 to 94, the 2 minutes bridging that gap.
It was nothing important, don't worry.
And I'd like to thank Ellie on air that she brought me a very lovely Christmas gift. It was the Neca Aliens.
Don't bring
power
that
loader.
up, because then you're just going to bring up all the gifts you got me.
Never an unselfish act.
Exactly. I got Ethan a power loader.
Some
And
Reese's Pieces.
a very nice necklace from Crazy Pig.
It's a pendant. It's not a necklace yet.
And a...
Height.
Why don't you tell them what you got me, Ethan?
Right, well, I got Ellie you can start Googling this as you listen. If you're on a daily commute, get your phone out, hit Google, and type in Sideshow Collectibles Pacific Rim knife head statue. It lights up. It's basically... it's a 2 foot replica, 2 feet high replica of the first kaiju or monster that we see in the film Pacific Rim. Guillermo del Toro's, of course, Monsters vs. Robots movie. And then moving on with the theme of robots.
It's knife head, actually.
What did I say?
You just said it was kaiju.
Okay. No, I went, hi, Jew. Ben Hopper waved at me through the window. Our Jewish friend,
Oh, Ben Hopper. Does he actually listen to our show?
Of course he doesn't. No one does.
Oh.
The other thing you got, of course, was on the same subject of sideshows, because you are my sideshow. I got you the Sideshow RoboCop articulated figure, and quite frankly, it is probably the greatest action figure / collectible ever. I'm really rather envious that I'm giving it to you, because I want one for myself now.
Well, every time we went into Forbidden Planet, I did kind of like press my nose and face against the glass and just think, oh, I want it.
Well, no, because those 2 times, one of the people that worked at the store had left a marmalade sandwich in one of the cabinets by accident. It must have fallen out of his pocket, and you know what you like with marmalade sandwiches.
I thought it was Marmite.
Tough crowd. Anyway.
Shit, son. Yes, Ethan did buy me some incredible gifts, for which I will never hear the end of. But anyway, on to this particular 2 minutes. What are the bookmarks, Ethan? What happens at the beginning and what happens at the end of these 2 minutes?
Oh, no, well, of course, the bookmarks are the young Carl Reese, played by
Who
the
looks
boy...
nothing like Carl Reese.
And he's got quite a large nose for a kid. He looks nothing like Jai Courtney.
Ethan, what the hell do you think your nose looked like when you were a kid?
Oh, dude, I look like Raymond Briggs's Mr. Men.
You look like the bloody child catcher.
It starts with young Carl Reese looking at himself through the glass, and it ends with Sarah tracing her finger up the young Carl Reese's hand. This, of course, happens within the police station. She recognises him as Kyle, and this is the thing he remembers in this kind of like split timeline dream. Obviously, his parents not recognising their future mother-in-law there.
I have a really dark story to tell you about that after this particular podcast.
Well, I'm going to tell you a dark story now. Why is
Why is
Sarah.
Rogue One starting to play?
I don't know. That would be illegal if I had a copy of Rogue One on my computer, Ellie.
It would be. Yes, Sarah, go.
Well, we just saw Rogue One at the cinema.
We did.
Didn't we? What did you actually think of it now, the cold light of day?
Let's discuss it at the end of this 2 minutes.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'll lose all my train of thought and
All right.
it'll just be bad.
I ate a lot of sugar this morning. I'm sorry.
This evening. Yes, so we see the very beginning where we see the young Kyle and his parents, and old Kyle is being interrogated. The Dr. Silverman kind of look-alikey guy goes, "Come on then, guys, let's get out, Kyle." So that's the first time it's actually... we conjectured that it was Kyle, but that's kind of the first bit of clarity that we've had, that this is obviously the alternate timeline. And Kyle's a 12-year-old boy?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm glad that Ethan had so much to say about that. Have you even watched this 2 minutes?
Not yet, no.
No,
I was
he
too busy
hasn't.
setting up the equipment for you to be in the studio to do this, as opposed to setting up a call-in show. So I'm a bit discombobulated. I apologise, listeners.
So we then go from Kyle being interrogated to Arnie being interrogated. We see him sat across the room from a kind of... Wow. He kind of reminded me of someone, but I don't know who.
I always mistook him for the black police officer that is in Terminator 3 that gets his kind of attacked in the car. Do you remember they go and see Kate Brewster's fiancé?
Yeah.
Who's already been murdered, and that's actually the
Well,
TX.
maybe that's why I don't know. He just kind of looked recognisable.
Well, he's not, because
to
they
me.
both die. The white police officer gets his heart punched out through the back seat, and I think the other guy just gets a big chop to the head, which smashes his kind of skull a little bit.
But yeah, so Arnie's being interrogated by said black man, and then they all we get a load of black.
Oh my God, Ellie.
He is black. Am I living in a world now where I cannot say that someone's black?
Or Oriental.
What? Come on, people. What should I call him?
Paper.
Man of African origin. He might not be from Africa.
No.
Exactly. He's black. Soz. I'm white. He's black.
I think most African Americans, oh no, because of slavery, I suppose, they would have come from Africa.
They would have come from everywhere.
This is true.
Zimbabwe.
Banana?
Mango. Now he's being racist. Yeah, so Arnie's being interrogated. He can obviously see through the mirrored wall, the mirrored glass, which then gets filled with lots of police. And then we do see that Asian chick come in. All of a sudden, Arnie stands up after the guy says to him, you don't really talk much, do you? And I swear that's been said in another Terminator film.
Yeah. I'm not... Oh God, which one is it, though? It must be...
Is it Terminator 2?
It must
and it's
be,
John
yeah.
Connor goes, you don't talk much, do you?
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Arnie stands up. He's obviously aware of what's going on behind the mirror, and just snaps very easily the handcuffs from which he's handcuffed to the desk. Now, my question, Ethan, is how the hell would those people have actually got Arnie into that room, got him to agree to sit down, and then got him agree to let them handcuff him to a table?
Sarah Connor would have... Well, I mean, bearing in mind, this Terminator's had 30 years of dealing with people. Also, I assume, at that point on the bridge we saw in the last episode when that cop was going, "Get on your knees!"
So you think that he's just complying at this point?
No, I think Sarah would have gone, "Pops, just do it. We'll figure this out later down the road." I think also...
Yeah, but she's in another room and she's been handcuffed to a table. She wouldn't have been there when
No, but
Arnie would have been handcuffed to a table.
She would have told him to go along with this for now. We'll just comply. Also, see if you can do some recon and find out what the cops actually know about us by, getting interviewed and things.
Yeah, but he's not talking to them.
No, he's not. But
so what's he going to gain from that? What's he going to learn?
all right, it's a big mess, and I'm sorry. The screenwriter's messed up again. There's no way.
Also, how does this kind of like Silverman lookalike manage to find himself in every like pinnacle like time and place and moment? He's at the hospital. He's now at this like secure police station. He's able to walk into a room where it's obviously quite high security.
But in fairness, I think this has obviously happened off camera, so you could argue, well, it's not really part of the film. But this guy has been obsessed and followed, I guess, the breadcrumbs of this case for 30-odd years. That's why when he comes to the hospital, because he's heard this case of this kind of like giant Austrian...
I get that, but how does this guy get all this access? They've already said that he stinks of booze, so they already think he's an alcoholic. As if
Yeah,
he
Detective
would
O'Brien.
as if he would just be running around willy-nilly a police station in which some potentially seriously dangerous detainees are being held. And he's just walking in going, guys, see, look, they're not happy about it.
No, I know.
I just don't know. I don't know. I just thought there'd be a bit more security.
I was going to say, you asked in the last episode, Ellie, that did this kid who played young Carl Reese, did he play Skynet? Is he the kind of physical manifestation in the child form?
And the answer is no.
Of Skynet, no. Skynet is played by 2 young actors. Skynet, 12 to 14 years old, is a guy called Nolan Cross. And I lost my internet connection, so I can't tell you anything about him. The next person that plays Skynet age 18, which is, I guess, the person that we see.
Seth
Merriweather. Let's see if my internet keeps dropping out. Not because
he kind of looks like John Connor.
Oh, you mean like Edward Furlong?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does, but...
He's got cool hair.
You don't need a young John... To be honest, he looks like Ruby Rose to me.
Dude, he's hot.
He could be a lesbian.
He's hot. Whoa, he's hot. Right, Nolan Gross. I'm checking you out.
Ellie, he's 11 years old.
Wow. He'll be older one day.
I can educate him. Ellie!
Why is it all right for an older man to fantasize over a young woman, and yet an older woman can't fantasize over a young man? He doesn't look 11.
Well, you can't fantasize over young women now, Ellie. You know this.
Yeah, but it still happens. You just can't admit it.
It's Christmas. We're going deep.
Anyway, after that heated discussion about paedophiles, let's go back to the film. So my next point was...
How did we recover that? The plane's going down. It's good, though. This is like season 2. If you're only just joining us, listeners, we go down these rabbit holes quite a lot in season 2, don't we?
What rabbit holes?
Just like where you go completely off topic, but then you go into like really dark kind of areas.
Yeah, no, they're my favourite ones. They're the ones I listen back to. So we then see Arnold. He gets up. He's obviously perturbed by something. He smashes through the glass. When he does that, our Asian friend, that nice lady who we thought was a policewoman, then turns to all the civilians in that room and proceeds to shoot them all. Then goes to shoot the guy that looks like Dr. Silverman. And then Arnie whacks this woman to the side. Well, hits her to the floor. She bangs into like a cabinet. And all of a sudden the face thing happens again.
Well, no, because he looks through the double mirror window thing. Which, technically, if he's been there for 30 years, he knows. By seeing every cop show, that's a two-way mirror. But he recognises... by scanning through with his Terminator vision that one of them is not human, one of them is a machine.
So where was that Terminator vision when they were on the bus and he was looking for John Connor?
Well, you quite rightfully pointed out.
Cock up. Bing!
But we do know he's looking through a mirror, whereas the other thing are solid objects. The Terminator may not be able to see through solid objects. However, I've just unravelled...
He can also hear them as well.
Well, I've just unravelled my own theory, because at the start, when they go to the concentration camp gate... and they're all hiding in the back, ready for the attack on Skynet. That Terminator does that famous turn from the trailer with the red lasers behind it, and it scans through, and it sees that the chip is switched to good as opposed to evil in the Terminator.
Oh my god! But yeah, so there's a few holes in this. Yeah, so I thought it was a bit silly that he can see through the walls, he can hear what's going on, and yet he couldn't when he was on the bus, which would have been a much more helpful time. Also, why does John shoot all the civilians and not at Pops? Or why did John disguise himself and then go into the room where Pops was, as opposed to going in and killing Sarah or going in and killing Kyle? Because that would have been instant.
You're ruining this film. You're absolutely right. Also, why bother with Pops? Because he could finish him off right now, technically. Why bother shooting at him?
Exactly.
As soon as he Pops
isn't the prime target. Again, it's like how Arnie has his own prime directive, and it's not to save John, it's not to protect Kyle, it's to protect Sarah. So surely John's main directive should be... Actually, do we even know what his main directive is? Is it to kill Sarah, or is it to kill
serve
Kyle?
the public trust, protect the innocent, and uphold the law. Oh, that's Robocop. Robocop.
Cast your eyes away from my toy. He is amazing. He has 4 different mouths. Well, no, you've got a choice of 3, and then there's
4.
Oh, Ethan.
There's that one.
Yeah, because they all know what you're doing when you do that.
He purses his lips when he's having that dream, and then he gets up out of the chair.
And he punches the TV.
And it's his like, I've had enough of this. He's had enough of this mouth. He's got his
Mick Jagger swagger
clenching
on.
his teeth like he's having a bad dream mouth. Look, just Google.
It's amazing. One of the helmets.
We'll link it under the show. It's incredible.
The Geordie LaForge kind of like laser bit over his eyes. One of them is smashed, and you can actually see like a little blue eye in it. It's so good.
I've just cocked it up again.
Oh god, it's okay. I've still got notes. Also, so
Don't fall over, RoboCop.
When John Connor gets hit to the ground as the Asian lady, she falls against her back, and yet her face goes all weird again and does the. Why does that happen? Because he doesn't actually hit her in the face. You need to watch this 2 minutes, Ethan.
No, I'm watching it. I'm just like every time I come up with it, I was trying to think of an explanation there to go. Well, this.
You need to go further back.
I have no excuses.
Right. Okay. So she's shooting all the civilians. Goes shoot Silverman. He just goes straight in there. He pushes her. She hits her back, and yet her face and her eye and then it's on the other side. Oh my god! Massive cock up.
No, it's not. I get what it is now.
What is it?
The idea of the special effects, I think.
So she hits her back on the cabinet. Watch.
No. Right,
Bang.
here's what's going to happen. The discombobulation and the change in her face starts on the right side, on her right. And as it moves over her face, she would have morphed into John Connor.
Why is she discombobulating now?
She's not. She's turning into her true form, which is John Connor.
Why is she turning into her true form now?
Because he already knows by looking through the two-way mirror that she's a Terminator compared to the biological entities next to the 3 detectives.
But I wouldn't have thought it would matter at all.
I think to save money and time on special effects, they went, we'll do a little bit on
We'll cut her out so we don't have to keep paying her.
No, she's irrelevant. They've just done a bit of CGI in her face. They've cut away to Arnold. When they cut back, Jason Clarke's sitting there, and they just do a little bit on the other side, as if to say there's like a wave gone over his face, almost like the ticking of a clock. The sweep of the second finger has gone and done a wipe from her to John Connor, but you've not seen it in one continuous shot because that probably would have cost a shitload of money. So they've just gone, ooh, there's some change happening in her face. Arnold, oh look, it's John Connor.
Why would it just happen in her face and not the whole body?
Well, it has. When it cuts to Jason Clarke, it's Jason Clarke. See? The wave, the blue wave of the transitional wave. Hang on, I'll put a...
Right, so, pause it there.
God. Rewind.
But it's just his face, it's not the body, that's my point.
I know,
His whole body is now John Connor, and it's just the last little bit of his face.
Yeah, but
why is the face the last bit?
Are you not understanding what the thing is, look?
Yes, I'm understanding.
Starts
it's
there.
the transition, yes.
Yeah.
But why only the face? Has he still got the body of that chick?
Because, no, but I think because that would have cost loads more money and time in special effects. It might have been the last special effects shot they did, and they just didn't have the time to complete it, so they did a cutaway to O'Brien escaping J.K. Simmons' detective character with the 2 bullet holes in his jacket. And they just go, oh, he's back to him now. It's just to convey the idea that he's returned to his form of John Connor, but they've done it in a cheaper way.
On a smaller budget.
Yes.
Rubbish. I'm sorry, but I think that's lovely.
Ellie, I've got a cock up for you.
Cock up. Bing!
That's a lie. That was a cock up. I apologise. I've only got fact attacks.
Fact attack.
In the hospital fight between Terminator Pops and John Connor, both Terminator Pops and John Connor bump against a Pepsi vending machine. That happens in the next minute, actually, so that is a cock-up. This, of course, is a nod to the scene in Terminator 2 Judgment Day in which the T-1000 meets John and fights with the T-101, fights the T-800 in the back kind of like staff area of the galleria where there's that Asian guy with the glass on gets shot to pieces. They are seen passing a Pepsi vending machine. This, of course, is a nod to that. Look out for that in the next episode. The interrogator, here's one for you, Ellie, tells Pops that the witness saw him fighting with a man on the bridge. That never actually happened in this film. The witnesses on the bridge, including the entire police response, saw everything up close, and obviously they didn't see him fighting with anyone on the bridge. Now, actually, they would have seen him holding up the falling school bus with one hand, but that's not worth a mention to anyone. So everyone was reported to the police that he was fighting with someone on the bridge, and that never happened. I can only assume maybe that was in the film and they obviously cut it for time and budget reasons. I don't know.
Jesus, how much budget do they need to cut on this thing?
I don't know. There's a lot about this that makes sense. Having said that, this is, I guess, the better of the post-T2 Terminator films. I don't know.
Definitely. I do agree. The others were terrible. I was speaking to someone the other day and they were like, oh my God, did you not think Salvation was good? It was amazing. And I was like, you're dead to me.
I liked it initially because they tried to do something different, but in hindsight, as we found, like grimly, like dragging
Another
over
question about this lady.
Yes. We
Sorry.
didn't like it, basically.
Did John ever actually meet her? How does he know how to replicate her?
Well, simply by touch.
When did she touch John?
Well, we don't know.
She's a policewoman.
No, but he only would have to brush up against her in a corridor, and he has like revealed himself and been playing a cop. God, we're drinking cans of Coke and we're getting like the macaroni, cheese, and Coke burps.
That was inside. No, but my point is, he isn't a cop. He works for Skynet.
He does.
Or Genesis.
No, but when they encountered him initially, he came disguised as a police detective. That's how he got into hospital. That's how he got into that room. That's how he got past the cops who were guarding the room with Sarah and Carl, who were detained and handcuffed the hospital beds. And then when he said, officers, can I get some help in here? The officers walk in and he tases both of them and then he helps them escape. So he was passing himself off as a cop. It would be quite easy for him to impersonate anyone at that point. He would have encountered those people because they were at the hospital room. They're the ones that left briefly just before John Connor came in as the cop. He could have met them in the corridor and go, I'm Detective blah-de-blah. I'm just going to go and speak to the suspect.
True.
So, and technically, why, if he's a more advanced version of the T-1000, he wouldn't even need to touch anyone, really. He could just impersonate them perhaps by looking at them or scanning them in some way. This is the most advanced Terminator. Unless you want to get really technical and go, the T-1000 was the most advanced Terminator, which is the only thing we see in the culmination of the T2 Battlecross time, right?
Yes, but that's not a film.
It's not a film, but it is considered canon.
But
and
it's
it's
real.
technically James Cameron's third and final
This picture
part.
of this baby is really starting to freak me out.
Yeah, we got, what did he get? Well, I've given you you've got the screwdrivers.
Ethan's
I
gonna...
can keep your passport photo of you in that if you like in the future.
Oh
And
my
I've got
God.
a lovely mirror. They're quite like good cracker gifts, really.
Yeah,
to be
that's
fair.
cracking. Ethan got crackers, and in one of them, it's a really tiny little picture frame, a silver picture frame, and in the middle of it, it's got a baby.
A wee bear.
A wee bairn. It's a bit weird. And a mirror. Yeah, so then we see... what is his name? I can't keep calling him the Silverman lookalike.
It's Detective O'Brien.
Detective O'Brien.
Detective O'Brien is the cop, one of the cops that survived when they're in the department store.
Back in the 80s, and he's been following this
and
case
the
for the last 30
Asian.
years.
T-1000 killed his partner. He's been obsessed with this case and followed it ever since. He's now a retired or kicked out of the police force alcoholic police detective, or just detective. And I guess he's been a kind of fanboy and follower, an obsessive follower of this case since the start. Sorry, gas.
News. Yeah, so he then finds Sarah in her little chamber, and he says, right, I need to know what the hell's been going on, what's happening, what's the dealio, and she just goes, we're here to stop the end of the world, and he goes, that's good enough for me, let's go. And I was like, whoa. That is she didn't even get her chebs out. That's what she had to say.
The detective that's actually interrogating or interviewing Arnold at the start of this clip, pretty much, is a guy called Gregory Alan Williams. He's a writer, actor, and producer. Oh, that's where I know him from, in The Line of Fire.
I have no idea.
He is in. It's the Clint Eastwood versus John Malkovich presidential assassination conspiracy movie. I think you'd really like it.
Jesus, that is a mouthful.
I know, right? He's been in lots of TV. I'm trying to think of something he's actually been in. Terminator Genesis, of course. He works loads, actually. God, he's doing about 20 jobs a year. Very good, sir. Let's go right to the start of his career, just for you trivia hounds who have no interest in this whatsoever. His first job was in 1988 in the amazing Above the Law with Steven Seagal.
No.
He was a bullpen guard in Major League. The Package, he played Colonel Woods. All this in
He was
1989.
in a film called The Package, and he was Colonel Woods. Is this a porno?
No.
Dude.
It's a... The
Come on.
Package is a Gene Hackman film with Tommy Lee Jones and Joanna Cassidy. It's an
Tommy
experienced
Lee
Green
Jones,
Beret.
I'm even more convinced.
Experienced Green Beret Sergeant Johnny Gallagher, that's Gene Hackman, is escorting a prisoner, an airborne ranger Thomas Boyette, Tommy Lee Jones, back to the US, but Boyette escapes and Gallagher must risk life and limb to catch him. Sounds like a reverse fugitive to me. He did The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, he's done LA Law, I'm just trying to think, Spider-Man the TV series in 1996. Oh, that's the awesome cartoon that was around the time of the 1990s X-Men cartoon, which is still the benchmark of the X-Men saga. Sopranos, West Wing, blah de blah. Anyway, that is Gregory Alan Williams, the black police detective, interviewing Arnold at the start of the clip. Ellie,
over to you. Yes. So my next note is, so we then see, oh God, I've forgotten his name again. The sergeant, the dude that's trying to help out Sarah. So they leave her cell, they're running through the corridors of the police station, and then all of a sudden little Kyle Reese comes out of the room and his mum goes, "Kyle!" And Sarah turns around and looks at him. To be fair, that could have been anyone called Kyle. She doesn't know that he's there. She doesn't know that...
It's not a very good odds though, is it? Like, huh? Although weirdly, sometimes when I've seen someone goes, "Ethan!" and I turn around and it's some woman calling to a little toddler. That's a really popular name now.
It has become a popular name. I'd never heard of anyone called Ethan until I met you.
What Ethan?
But then a couple of people I know
It's not even my real name either.
I know. Matthew. Some of the people I know on Facebook recently, where they've had kids and they've had boys, literally about 3 people have called their kid Ethan. So yeah, I reckon it's because of Mission Impossible.
You think?
Personally, no, I don't. He wants to name their kid after Tom Cruise.
James Bond.
Oh my God, someone has to call their kid James Bond. That or the Hulk. I think that'd be amazing.
First name The, middle name
Just
Hulk.
the Hulk McKinley. How amazing would that be?
That's what I call my chode.
What, it's green, fat and veiny.
But
John, if you want to draw a picture of that, you can.
you don't need to do that, John.
Also,
yes.
So Sarah obviously finds young Kyle and she thinks, "Oh my God, this is going to be the man that's going to bear my children." That's a bit weird because he's only like 11. She then instructs the family to get out of the building. She's helping them run down the stairs. Again, this family have not the foggiest who this woman is. They're entrusting their lives and their son with her. Yeah. Do you not think that's a bit like, I don't know, maybe she got a feeling? Like the mother, maternal instincts.
Again, I just think it's perhaps a little bit of lazy writing. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like leaps of logic and silly stuff they have in this film, sadly, I feel. I'm seeing so much wrong with this film now, thanks to you. Every time I try to talk more out of a corner with you on this episode, I've gone...
Actually, she's right. And then the last note that I had on this particular 2 minutes was the fact we finally see the flashback that Carl's been seeing all throughout this film. Sarah gets down on one knee. No, she doesn't propose. But little Kyle, he's worried. He stops on the stairwell and he's all scared and that. And she stops and she kneels down and she grabs his hand and she goes, "You can do this. Just follow the straight line." And she does that thing where she runs her finger down his palm and up his like middle finger.
Why is that freaky to you, by the way?
I'll tell you after.
Whoa. This episode's really dark.
But that is obviously the memory that old Kyle, Jai, has. And it's actually now in this timeline. So he can exist in both timelines.
Or can he?
Yes, he can.
And well, there we have it. I have nothing else to add. Ellie, do you?
Oh, wow.
Rogue One.
Did you want to talk about Rogue One?
Yeah, let's talk about Rogue One. We saw Rogue One tonight.
We did.
Ellie, I really thought you'd be into it, actually, but she was unmoved, I think.
Okay, so before I start making any comments, why did you think I'd be really into it?
I don't know. I got quite caught. Well, the first half an hour was boring and rubbish, but
what did I say about the first 20 minutes?
I got quite swept up in the story after that point.
But Ethan, what you have to understand is I've only ever seen the old films and the one with Natalie Portman and Darth Maul in. I've never followed the saga. I've never been into it. Star Wars bored me for a very long time. And also it is, dude, it's all the hype. It's how mental people go over Star Wars, and it's just like, I appreciate that Star Wars, when it was first made, was like, it made movie history. It was so ahead of its time. The effects, the cast,
I think
the
mainly
music,
the design.
The design,
The
yeah.
stormtroopers look really cool. All the design work on the characters is really good. The Imperial outfits and costumes. And I think what was lacking in this film, sadly, was John Williams' music. 'Cause I think a thing that really made Star Wars a hit was that amazing music.
God bless you, John Williams.
And
But no, I did enjoy it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Dude, I actually went to the cinema to see a Star Wars film with you.
I think that was more a kind of, I'm doing this out of some false sense of duty to Ethan.
No, when I got here yesterday, it's the first thing I wanted to do. I was like, let's go see Star Wars. Didn't I?
I did.
No, I did.
And to repay you, we're going to go Glory Hole.
Yes. That sounds amazing. The first 20 minutes bored the hell out of me. Wasn't quite sure what was going on. Also, because I don't know all the backstory, I'm kind of having to conjecture a lot of it myself. But
Well, you don't really
I
need
kind
the
of liked the idea of
backstory.
what was going on. But for me, the best bits were Darth Vader, especially the bit at the very end where he puts his lightsaber on. It's all dark and everything, and you just hear
And he becomes a horror film character,
It
doesn't
is.
he, really?
He's genuinely really scary.
They're trapped in a corridor with this ginormous evil thing that's just hacking him to pieces.
Just one man and shit like to other dudes. But no, I really enjoyed that bit. I just wish there'd been more of that, and I wish that there was more of a sense of
Urgency?
I like the idea of evil versus good, whereas I mean like kind of magical and powerful evil versus good.
Well, Star Wars used to have that. I think one thing they did do well in the Star Wars films, maybe the older ones, where they depict evil in such a black and white way, where good is good and evil is evil, to the point where evil is all in black and all the good guys are in black.
See, I find that with the kind of new stuff, it's more kind of like civilians against civilians, and it's, you know, you get the odd alien here and there. What I really like is the sense of, aka Darth Vader, using the Force. I mean, I find that far more entertaining. I love the whole idea of magic and wonder and things like that. And I don't know. That's my preference. But no, I enjoyed it way more than I thought I would. I preferred that to the Terminator Genesis.
Right. Okay. Well, well, I think what they did do right is it wasn't just some silly cash grab like, oh, it's Star Wars, let's make some money. There was a kind of story to it. I think. I don't know.
Well, you really enjoyed it.
I did. Well, I mean, compared to it's a step in the right direction. I didn't really like The Force Awakens.
Maybe if I'd seen The Force Awakens and then I saw that film, I'd be more excited about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yes, do go out and watch it. If you are fans of Star Wars, I do recommend it.
For somebody who hates Star Wars that liked it, I think that's the best review you can really get, can't you?
Yeah, it is. But yes, no, if you do enjoy Star Wars, I would recommend you go and see it. The girl in it didn't annoy me to the point where I almost walked out, and that normally happens when there's a female protagonist. Although she did, as Ethan kept saying throughout the film, she did have the face of a rodent. And you kept being like, give her the cheese!
A block of cheese, she'll shut up.
Swiss cheese, which we discovered this evening, is cheese with holes
discovered.
in. You weren't sure.
No, I said it's with holes in. You're like, no, that's Emmental.
Emmental or Jarlsberg.
Let me Google it, and then our waitress
It's worth a Google.
knew that it was with holes in.
This is true. She knew her cheese. That scared me.
And there we have it. We shall return tomorrow. If you want to look at the show notes of today's show, you can actually see the amazing gifts that were given back and forth at Christmas. And we'll join you tomorrow for episode 47 of the 2-Minute Terminator. Happy New Year. No, it's 2 days before, isn't it? 28th today.
Jumping the gun, Ethan. A bit like your fact attacks. And your cock-ups. Bing! Hasta la vista.
Baby.
Oh, you should have ended with the Star Wars music. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow, meow, meow,
Meow,
meow,
meow, meow, meow,
meow, meow,
meow,
meow, meow, meow, meow, meow.
Meow.
There we go. Woof. Meow.
machines. They're unstoppable. Watch out for machines.